This is Papa Smurf. You're listening to Our Lifestyle, the podcast, with ODB and the Mayor.
Yo, it's ODB, Our Lifestyle podcast, and we want to remind you that Bayou Showdown is going down later this year in Slidell, Louisiana at the Harbor Center. That's 100 Harbor Center Boulevard, again in Slidell, Louisiana. Bayou Showdown is November 20th and 21st. It's the weekend before Thanksgiving, so get on out and support the scene, including Custom Car Show Productions in conjunction with Mr. Sean Randall. Bayou Showdown, November 20th and 21st, Slidell, Louisiana. Check that hashtag, Bayou Showdown, or Facebook, Bayou Showdown, for more information. Yo, it's Our Lifestyle Podcast, also known as OLP. Thanks so much for coming back every single week and rocking with us. We appreciate all the support. Now, Miggity Mike the Mayor, luckily he did not dial in, but check this out. I did talk to him just a little bit ago. He's out gallivanting up north to a local show at night here in the Clearwater area, and I am hopefully going to talk to him just in a little bit. And I said, Mike, listen, man, people were waiting for these trivia questions, so, dude, don't keep ducking us. You know what I mean? Now, we want to thank our two title sponsors. We have Custom Car Show Productions. Their next event is Bayou Showdown. That's in conjunction with Mr. Sean Randall. That's going down, of course, the weekend before Thanksgiving in Slidell, Louisiana. That's the 19th, 20th, and 21st. I think it's technically the 20th and 21st, but you know how people do. They roll in on Friday. Look up Bayou Showdown on Facebook. It is going down. I think all of the indoor spots are gone. Make sure you hit up Sean Randall for more information. The artwork looks amazing. Cannot wait for that one. Biggity Mike the Mayor will be out there. Now, we also want to thank Mini Truck Showdown for coming on board with us, and we're going to be out there June 3rd through the 5th of 2022 in Vegas. I made a post the other day, and it was pretty cool to see so many people chime in. Even Tim Berendez, the OG, said, yo, now I got time to plan. So we're looking forward to it. I think it's quickly going to become the biggest, baddest mini truck show on the West Coast, and that's saying a lot. So tip of the cap to the entire team, Corey, and all the good folks out there. So, and then don't forget, they also have Kern County Showdown, which is going to be the first weekend in February. Kern County Fairgrounds. If you're a mini trucker, you're on the West Coast, make sure you check out these events. So, as I mentioned, I did try to kick Mike off this week, but I was like, I rambled on with so much crap last week. We kind of need to get another person's perspective. And, at the end of the day, it's Mike just trying to get out of working. He just wants to gallivant around and not do the work. He just wants to ship stuff out. I go, yo, Mike, you got to do more. The Airhead Nation needs you. That's what you guys keep telling me. So on this episode, the way I hope, the way it should go down is this. I'll get it kicked off here. We'll link up with Mike in a few minutes. We will have on Chad from Layin At The Lake. All right, so Chad's a good dude. We had him on before with his wife, and we'll have them back on. Layin At The Lake is the 12th through the 14th of November out there in Texas. So more information to come on that one with the crew joining us. Now, we're also going to have Ed Eyster on. So some of you may not know that name. If you're a Floridian, you know Ed Eyster. He's been going to shows a long time. I don't want to give anything away, but dude, the guy knows his mini truck history. He is a hardcore dude, and we link up with him. We saw him a couple weeks ago at the show, and he took home our Minis on the Rise award, and that's all I'm going to say. We posted his truck before. It's on. It's making a comeback, and one of the reasons why it's coming back is he wants to make sure that Mike doesn't win any awards. So he's coming at Mike's jugular with the Mazda, and it's pretty awesome. So stay tuned. It is a jam-packed episode again, And we got the pedal stomped as we move into the rest of the year. We've got some big guests lined up, been working on the next couple episodes already. You know how we do. The overview of this episode is brought to you by Graphics Mafia. We love what Buddy and Ryan do. Hit up graphicsmafia.com. Maybe you need some artwork. Maybe you need some stickers for your show, or you want some custom stuff. They go to a lot of shows and they print on demand right there at the events. But graphicsmafia.com. You can order. They're also on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And I know they are also on board for Mike's show, Eastbound Get Down. So you can go to eastboundgetdownshow.com and you'll see their logo right there on the flyers on that poster artwork. So, last episode recap. Now, just want to thank Kimberly Miller. Man, what an awesome guest to sit down. Someone that obviously has good roots in the scene. She's a female, and she's doing the damn thing. She's got an awesome truck, Long Bed Mafia. If you have not listened to that episode, or maybe you're a new listener coming here to check out Ed and or the good folks over at Layin At The Lake, please follow and or subscribe to the podcast. Depending on what kind of app you use, you just tap follow and or subscribe. And biggity boom, every Friday we're bringing you new content, and guess what? It's absolutely free. So the entertainment that we provide is part of what we love to do. We love to support the scene and get out there and promote as many great people and events as we can. So thanks again. Make sure you subscribe to our lifestyle podcast. Now, the last episode recap with Kimberly Miller, brought to you by our fine folks over at Lone Star Throwdown. Now, maybe you've never been to LST. It's the last weekend in February. Hey, that needs to change in 2022. If you've never been, come on out, fly out, start looking for flights. You can get a good deal on a flight right now if you want to do that, or you can drive in. The great thing about it is the event is so expansive. You can walk around this thing for 2-3 straight days and not see the same thing. Maybe the same thing if they're cruising around, which is awesome. But trust us, it's in my opinion, the biggest, baddest truck show anywhere. It's mostly trucks, and we love what they do. I mentioned last episode they did sell out, so they have 2,000 pre-registrations with the tow rigs and all of the vendors and things like that. You're probably easily at 2,500 vehicles in this venue. So come on out and support the real deal over at Lone Star Throwdown. All right, next, the general update. So I'm going to kind of bring this back, at least for now. I wanted to kind of chop it up with Mike and talk a little bit about what he's had going on. Dude, this guy has been gallivanting everywhere. I talked to him earlier, and like I said, he's headed up to Clearwater, and then he's talking about going over to Orlando this weekend. I mean, dude, the guy's gone like 40 weeks, if not more, out of the year. But something that I meant to talk about last week and I didn't get a chance is the movie Rad. So you guys know I'm a huge Rad fan. Came out, the cult classic, in 86. Mike still hasn't watched it as far as I know. And we've had Bill Allen on, which was Crew Jones. He, of course, played, he was on Family Ties and in some other kind of TV shows and whatnot. Just a really good dude. But what was awesome is it's the 35th anniversary, and the Rad franchise is kind of on the rise. They've realized, I think, there's such a cult following over the past couple years. There was this finally a digital release of it through iTunes and other media outlets. And then, of course, there was the 4K that launched. So, pretty cool stuff, for the cult classic fans of Rad and some of just the, what I call just normal enthusiasts that, maybe weren't the hardcore fans, but they remember watching it and they loved it. So you can go out. I think it's free right now. If you have Showtime, you can go out there and buy it through like Apple Movies or iTunes, whatever they call it now. And so I had an opportunity last week to go to the 35th anniversary deal that they did, which was basically it screened in movie theaters throughout the country. So I think when Ron was here, we briefly talked about it. You had people from East to West that were going. I know Sketchy and Carly out in Texas, they went, and you had people kind of wearing some of their old gear, some of the different shirts, Rad Army, Rad, you name it, all of the different kind of spinoffs. And I got to give a lot of credit to Rad Movie Collection on Facebook. It's the place to be if you're a Rad fan. I mean, lots of cool stuff. some amazing collections, crazy enthusiasts that have just collected some of the craziest stuff, including the big homie. Would love to link up with him, but many of you are probably following him. It's the 80s Garage, and on Instagram, the 80s with an 80s Garage. That's the original 80s Garage as a collection museum of toys and all that stuff. And if you look at his stuff and you look at some of the things he's collected, it's crazy. And I know he's tied in with the whole Rad Movie Collection guys and all that. So salute and tip of the cap to everybody out there that's the Rad fans. Some of these guys have built tribute bikes and figured out every single piece and just done some awesome stuff. So check it out if you haven't already. And huge shout out to Southeast Mini Trucking Nationals. We appreciate them, and we can't wait to be out there next year. So like I said, Southeast Mini Trucking Nats, super excited for that event next year. So I want to give them a huge shout out here, just talking about the general updates. Make sure you follow them. Just type in Mini Trucking, and you'll see Mini Trucking Nats will come up. Of course, many of you have already pre-registered. But even if you don't bring in a vehicle to the show, you can still come out to Maggie Valley next year, 22nd through the 24th, and cruise the city, put a chair out, chop it up. You know how we do. So big shout out to Southeast Mini Nats. Now, I got a quick update, breaking news. Biggity Mike the Mayor, even though he's gallivanting, like I said a few minutes ago, we just got started. Dude, he's trying to break in the line. I just got a call from the operator that asked if I could, do a charge to my phone, like a $10 deal for Mike to break through the line. Mike, is that you?
Dude, patch me in, homie. Patch me in.
Dude, the operator just called and said, hey, man, we got a call from a prison. Can we charge like a $30 call? And I said, nah, man.
Let me just charge it to my OLP account, and boom, we're good to go. I'm getting tick marks left and right. I'm breaking out of jail as we speak. Down here on 275, bumper-to-bumper traffic, and it's going crazy.
Dude, you want to hear something crazy? You talk about jail and crazy? Dude, I got one for you, Mike. I don't know if you've ever been at a gas station, right? And someone comes up to you and they got this wild fetch story about how they're trying to get across the state and help a family member. It's all a big lie. And they ask for some fuel. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever had that happen where someone's like, hey, man, like, dude, I'm trying to, like, get over, to my buddies, my gal's house, and, my car's a little empty. I forgot my wallet at home. Can you put, like, $5 of fuel in my car?
Bro, I've never had anybody ask me about, some money for some gas. I always just go up and I see a guy that has a really nice car. I just go up to him and ask him if I can borrow it.
Well, dude, I had a guy earlier, bro. He comes up to me and he's like, yo, man, this is like a new level, dude. I mean, borrowing, a couple bucks, maybe a gallon of fuel. This guy was like, yo, could you charge my Tesla for like 5 minutes, bro? I was like, dude, really? You got a fucking Tesla, man? And I was like, man, that's kind of shady, ain't it?
Bro, you know what would have been even better, though, is if he would have asked you for a couple bucks of gas, and he's driving a damn Tesla, and you look over and you're like, bro, you're driving a Tesla, man. What do you need money for gas for, dog?
Well, I talked about it
man.
last week about siphoning the fuel out of Ron and Hank's tank due to things empty. But I've heard that that's what Hank's done before. He'll go and he'll ask for fuel money, and then they'll see him get in a Tesla, and they're like, dude, that was wrong, dude. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know, but our boy Josh finally found Hank a damn woman. I think this is his forever,
Dude, it could be love at first sight. I mean, we're going to have to see his reaction.
Dude, could you imagine the kids that those two are going to make? Oh, they're going to be the life of the party. That's all I know. The life of the party.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, I got started a couple minutes ago because, sometimes when Mike goes, I'll call you back in a minute, it could be the next week. You just never know, right? So I was like, look, let me be efficient. Mike's gallivanting. Let's keep it going. But, Mike, I was just talking about the general updates, giving a huge shout-out to Mini Nats. I was talking about last week I got to go see Rad in the movies, man. So what have you had going on?
Rad, dog. Bro, I didn't see the movie Rad back then. And I'm not going to go see the movie Rad nowadays either.
It's messed up, bro.
It's all good, especially after our boy Glenn with the custom scene, he goes and sees Rad, and now he goes and thinks that he can ride a BMX bike at his young age that he is, and he about breaks both of his fucking ankles. I'm good. I don't need to go see Rad because it's going to make me think that I can get out there and ride a damn BMX bike again and, crash the can and put the can in behind the tire and sound like I got a fucking motorcycle, or put my baseball cards that I don't have anymore in my spokes and make it sound like a motorcycle. Come on, man. No. So I'm not going to see no Rad. There was no reason to see it back then. There's no reason to see it now.
It's messed up, man. Well, I mean, dude, I didn't ask you about Rad. I was telling you that's what I did. I was asking what have you had going on?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Actually, I stayed home this past weekend, didn't go nowhere because I got a bunch of my customers coming back. And honestly, all I did was work and pressure washed and did all that good stuff. So I got caught up. And, dude, once again, life is good. I'm back on the road now. I'm sure you told everybody. I'm actually down here in Clearwater getting ready to go hit this truck night up over here at OCC Bar and Grill or something like that. I don't even know what the name of it is. I just got directions, and it's telling me to drive, so I'm driving.
Well, I'm glad you're able to spend a few minutes with us. I mean, I know you're a busy guy, man.
Hey, I'm just out there trying to promote a truck show, man. That's our, car truck show. It's a little car and truck show we're going to be putting on. Me, John Lopez, our wives, there. Destination Daytona, January 21st to the 23rd. I hope the Airhead Nation, I hope everybody can come out. I got this guy with no fucking exhaust right now flicking me the bird and saying, "You're going too fucking slow." And this guy's missing his bumper. He's missing his exhaust. I'm sorry. I just got cut off by some guy that has no exhaust on his car. He has no bumper. I'm going to 80 miles per hour in the fast lane, but obviously it's not fast enough. Get ready to cross over the Skyway Bridge. It's crazy out here, dog. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're getting crazy coming off the top ropes. Well, let's move on. And this is a perfect segue, Mike. Dude, you came at the right time. We got the trivia time with Biggity Mike the Mayor.
I love trivia time.
Yeah, this is brought to you by our family at All Time Low Magazine. Listen, don't sleep on the scene. Visit and cop All Time Low Magazine. It's atlmagazine.com. You can go to magazines, and they have individual issues. Right now, only issue 28 is available. You can also subscribe and select the issue that you want to start with. Example, buy issue 28, start your sub with issue 29. You'll be in the catbird seat. It's atlmagazine.com. So, Mike, I think this is a softball, but I don't know, man. I can already hear you complaining in my ear, going, "Yeah, man, that's too hard, man." So, I mean, and I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I mean, this is like a 1, an easy one.
And I probably don't know it, so let's try this. I'll give it a good effort here. Let's try this. All right, here we go. Let's do this.
So it's going to have a couple hints, and those are the only hints in it. So, what was the name of the hit 1982 Spielberg movie, which was the highest grossing movie of the entire 80s decade?
Is that the only 2 hints I get?
Yeah, man.
Bro, I mean, you don't give me, no initials. You don't give me, it had a BMX bike in it. You don't give me that, there was kids in it. You don't give me that there was, some creature falling out of the sky. I mean,
nothing, dude.
Bro, I mean, was it it? IT it? Oh, wait. No, that's not it. Wait a minute. Was it E.T. Phone Home?
I'm going to give that one to you as E.T. Extraterrestrial, and you nailed it, man. Dude, I mean...
Hell fucking yeah.
Dude, Spielberg, that's the classic, dude.
I believe that's 3 in a row. All right, so what... shit. I don't remember if it was a cookie or if it was a candy bar. I think it was a candy bar.
No.
What
it was Reese's Pieces.
did he make famous out of that movie?
Reese's Pieces, dog.
Damn.
Dude,
Look
I already... Well, because get this. The story goes that M&M's turned it down, and that was one of the worst decisions they ever made. Because, dude...
Well, that's probably because they melt in your mouth, not in your hand, right?
Dude, your brother was telling me last time we hung out that you used to go around the whole yard throwing the Reese's Pieces around riding your bike, dude. And I was like, damn, is that Mike doing that shit? I was like, why is he throwing candy away, man?
Nah, see, I was just like now. I was fat back then too. So there's no way I was throwing them around because I'd eat them motherfuckers. Hell no. Hell no. And besides, we were poor as fuck. So if we got Reese's Pieces, I made sure I ate those damn things. I wasn't throwing nothing away.
That's hilarious, man. Well, good job. We got another tick mark in your binder. And next week, I'm going to make it 2 questions because we got to make up for last week. You did get 3 in a row, but last week, you tried to dip out on us. And we've got the official rule book here, Mike, and it says that within 2 weeks, I have to be able to, you can make up the question. You know what I mean? But the reason why I'm doing it next week is I want to try to give you, some incentive to come back. You know what I mean? Because if I ask you now, you're probably going to dip out next week.
Okay. No. I totally get that. Well, hey, tell him what he's won, Bob.
A new car that you got to pay taxes on.
Damn.
Dude,
yeah. I would have been so pissed. You win a new car and it's a fucking Geo Metro. You know what I'm saying? That sucked so bad. Like those people were so excited. I'm like, bro, it's a Geo Metro.
Dude, there was
you so excited about a Geo Metro.
There was one the other day I saw on Twitter, and it was like the 1982. It was one of those like little Dodge 4-door cars. The 80s cars were just junk. A lot of them were. And dude, it was like one of those like little Dodge 4-doors with the little vinyl roof on it, and I was like, Lord, man, times have changed.
Times have definitely changed, and I agree.
But hey, check this out. Since it's fresh on my mind, Ron Perkins from Hammered Weekend Wear, he just texted me, and he said, let me clear my throat. By the way, Mike lost again, and I beat Robbie Trash Bag Mazda Williams. Rock on. And Made a Steel Show from this screenshot, Willie, that he sent me. Made a Steel Show is 5-1-0, dude. Are you kidding me, Mike? This is the fantasy for those, how do you say it? Final Fantasy thing?
No. This is the OLP Fantasy Football League.
Okay.
And I was going to just, skip giving everybody an update because nobody cares anyway. And besides, the mayor is still in last place at 1-5. Yes, it is true. It is true. But that's okay. I'm just trying to give these guys a head start. So when I start kicking everybody's ass, I don't have to hear anybody cry and whine. They're having a good time right now. They're all at top. They're all winning. 3 minutes. So everything's good. But when I kick in and start fucking kicking their ass, then I don't have to worry about them, crying.
My boy Howard slammed Wagons number 2, dog. And you got Unicorn in there. And then, dude, all luck,
that's Jason Weiss.
All luck, no skill. Briggity Brad's back in the house. You saw that, dude. He's back.
Let me tell you this. Brad, love him to death. He is the biggest shit talker I've ever seen in my whole entire life, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, he's starting a wrestling career, he said. He's going to be – what was the guy that would go up in the Raptors and he had the white face? Like, that was the Halloween guy, right?
Dude, it was Sting, dog. Come on.
The Halloween Jason Myers, or what was his name? Mike Myers?
Oh, it was Sting, man.
Oh.
He up in the Raptors back in WCW. Bro, I got to get Jason. Hey, shout out to DJ Mays, man. Our boy is back. I talked to him earlier. So good to hear his voice. So glad that he's back. He recovered. Fucking kicked COVID's ass. And I'm just shout out to Jason. Glad to have him back.
Yeah, DJ Mays the man. So, yeah, I'm glad he's doing well. But, yeah, just a little bit of the Final Fantasy thing. We wanted to give that update right there. And just want to remind you guys, All Time Low magazine. Make sure you check it out, atlmagazine.com.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about right there.
So, Mike, the scene updates, dude. I didn't save a whole lot this week just because I knew, we cover so much every single week. I did save a few things, and one of those things I wanted to remind everyone is that the holidays are coming up, okay? And, there's a lot going on, with family and stress and health and all kinds of different things, right, in the world. Just take some time to kick back and relax. I know we're not quite to the holidays yet, Mike, right? But we're starting to get into that Halloween deal, I think, within a week. Some of you guys are on that SEMA crunch, and the ladies as well. We're going to be moving into November. We're going to have, Veterans Day, I think it is, the 11th. And then, it's going to be full-blown holidays. So just take a minute to breathe and try to, just appreciate the stuff that you got. You know what I mean, Mike? I think that's important just to say, and I wanted to throw that.
No, absolutely. And I got 2 announcements for you. I didn't save these. I just remembered these. One, shout out to our boy Chad Luke, taking that badass Toyota of his to SEMA. I know Jason's going to be going to SEMA with street trucks, so definitely have a good time, brother. Have a safe flight. Enjoy it while you're out there. And shout out to Chad. Congratulations. He's going to be out there as well, taking that badass Toyota, that 4-door out there. And also, news flash, OLP, we got a new show this year here in Florida, another one, because everybody's always like, man, I got to move to Florida. That's where all the car shows was at. Well, guess what? We got another one. Our boy Goat, Tank, Toy Drop, December 4th. OLP is going to be the sponsor of the after party for Toy Drop. So, guys, we'll have more details coming, but Toy Drop, December 4th, there in Orlando. So be on the lookout for more details coming soon.
Hells yeah. I can't wait. And they are on Instagram as well. I think I recently mentioned that. Type in toy, and then it's probably going to come up, Toy Drop Auto Show. And they did announce VIP submissions are still flying in. Some have been approved already. And the form is right there. You just tap the link in their Instagram bio, and you'll go to the toydropautoshow.com, and you can apply for vehicle pre-reg. And it is for the Kids Cancer Foundation. So amazing, amazing stuff there. So, Mike, I appreciate you covering that. I'll go through these, a couple things here. Lauren Hoover, big homie in Florida, Brooke's husband, he mentioned that Darren Head is killing it with his chassis, so pretty cool stuff there. Mr. Eddie Gordy, dude, this guy's on a rampage. He went to the Drop and Wear show, and he took Best Mini Truck, so congratulations, very cool award there.
AJ, let me touch base on that real quick. You said the Drop and Wear show. Shout out to John and Jen, because the trophies that they just made for the Drop and Wear show, some of the coolest, most original trophies out there. Hats off to them, because you go to some of these shows and there's some horrible-ass trophies, but the Drop and Wear show has got some badass trophies, and hats off to those guys. And congratulations to everybody that was able to get one of those, because those were cool as shit. And you want to talk about a throwback trophy? That is really throw you back to your childhood right there.
Yeah, no doubt. And, we've had John and Jen separately on the podcast in the past, and, those guys have been doing it for a long, long time. So I think they're getting ready to come up maybe on their 30th anniversary. So congratulations to them. Now, I also wanted to mention, I think we mentioned this recently, Mickey Harris, One Side Done, so the amazing paint job on the truck. Really looking forward to seeing that thing done. Mini Nats, they're continuing to send out those submissions, so be on the lookout, as I mentioned on the last podcast episode, for those emails so that you can kind of finalize your pre-registration. Tyler Probst, Tyler, the big homie, I know he's kind of getting back to a good space. I hope that next year we're going to see him at Lone Star Throwdown, but he mentioned that Sean Patrick had cruised by. He was passing through Cali, and dude, he's a good dude, so shout out to both of the big homies, Mike.
Oh, no doubt, brother. Absolutely. And definitely hope to see TP over there at LST again next year. I think it's been 2-3 years since the last time we've seen him over there.
Yeah, no doubt. Those were a few scene updates as far as just stuff that I saw in Facebook. I know from a print standpoint, I recently mentioned this, the new Street Trucks November 2021 issue came out. It's a really good issue. Truck on the cover is a K5 Blazer. It was featured prior on the cover, so I kind of talked about that. This one's pretty cool. You've got Cat Eye Chevy, you have an OBS, you have a Ram truck, and then you have an old school Ford. So it's a good mix. I mean, you got all the different OEMs for the most part in there, the big three. You got Slamboree, and then the 6th annual F100 Roundup. Texoma, I believe it is what it's called. And then TriStar Tradition was also in their 5th annual, presented by Riffy's Hot Rod. So pretty cool stuff. And I think those were the main scene updates. I'm sure there's stuff we're forgetting, but we'll cover it next week. Want to just give a huge shout out to Garage Gear Clothing. We couldn't do what we do without these fine folks. So GarageGearClothing.com. It's free shipping in the U.S. They have the new Garage Girl shirt. They have the new Apache Garage Gear shirt as well. So go out there, show them some love. If you're looking for holiday gifts, keep GarageGearClothing.com in mind. So, Mike, the key show updates, dude. So you kind of mentioned there with the toy drive, so I'm excited about that. But, dude, are you getting excited about Vegas next year? The first weekend in Vegas, going out there? I know I've requested the time off already for Mini Truck Showdown.
Bro, hey, anytime you have a chance to be able to go to Vegas, that's always a good thing. And I know you're getting ready to go out there now, but next year for a mini truck show, that's always a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and it's literally, if you look at it, it's 5 months to the week before SEMA, right? So it's June plus 5 would be 6 and 5 is 11, right? So that'd be the first week in November. So you basically is nearly the halfway mark between the middle of the year and SEMA. So it gives you a good dry run to get out there if you've never been. And there's going to be a lot more information coming. The main thing that you want to do is you want to go out and book your tickets. You can generally get very, very affordable rooms in Las Vegas. MiniTruckShowdown.com for more information. So, Mike, obviously this week, as we start to get closer to the end of the year, it becomes, it frees up a little bit. We talked about where we're going to be the first weekend in December, of course, at the Toy Drive, Great Cause. That's going to be in the Orlando area at Deezerland, I believe it's pronounced.
Yes, sir.
Before then, you're going to have SEMA the first week. You guys know all that, the 3rd through the 6th. I'll be out there with street trucks. Looking forward to that. Layin at the Lake, I'll be calling Chad here in a few minutes just to talk with him a couple minutes. Grapeland, Texas, that's the 12th through the 14th. I think he has record pre-registrations this year. Amazing stuff. Now, I talked at the top, Biggity Bayou Showdown. The 20th through the 21st, I think technically, Mike, I know you're going to gallivant on out there with Mrs. Mayer, and you've been there before. Bayou Showdown is one you don't want to miss.
Yes, sir. Slidell, Louisiana. You definitely don't want to miss it. Last year, I know they had their biggest year yet, and so I'm sure this year is going to be even bigger. Sean Randall and Lauren, they're teaming back up again to do the damn thing, and I look forward to being able to go out there and help those guys put on the show because it's always a good time.
Yeah, good mix of lifted, lowered, full-size minis, lowriders even. If you go on Instagram and type in the hashtag Bayou Showdown and search that tag, you'll see there's a good mix of vehicles out there in the awesome state of Louisiana. The artwork, as I mentioned earlier, looks amazing. And if I remember correctly, that's Ernie's old full-size that had changed colors a couple of times. Of course, it's been resold a couple of times, but just awesome, awesome, awesome artwork for Bayou Showdown. Now, as we get crazy into the new year, Mike, I always look forward to this kind of part of the year. You talked about your show, which is the 21st through the 23rd in January, you along with Mr. John Lopez. But then, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to basically go from there. February 4th through the 6th is going to be the Kern County Showdown out there in Bakersfield. So that's part of the Mini Truck Showdown family. And then you're going to have later that month, you're going to have Lone Star Throwdown. So the 11th annual event, if you go to LoneStarThrowdown.com, you can see more information, but that's the 25th through the 27th of 2022. Now, Relaxin' on the Ranch. So Relaxin' on the Ranch is going to be March 5th. That's, of course, down south. Amazing event. You can camp. You can get a hotel room. You can sleep in the bed of your truck like Hank does. But make sure you check out Relaxin' on the Ranch. I'll be there, DJ ODB, on the ones and twos, killing it all weekend long with music. Of course, we got Orange Beach Invasion, which is always mid-March. And, Mike, as you know, that's one of our favorite shows. we can't wait for OBI. I know Lauren has been taking the pre-registrations for the VIP spots, and from what I understand, a lot of those are gone.
The VIP spots are gone. They are they're sold out. So, but I'm just saying, there's the VIP spots are sold out, but there are plenty of other parking spots available. But the VIP there on VIP row they are gone.
Yeah, and so the dates, I need to update the calendar. The dates, according to Orange Beach Invasion Instagram, there are two. Robbie runs the Orange Beach Invasion as the key partner, and then they have Orange Beach Invasion Show, which, rest in peace to Greg, was the one that he always ran. But if you go on Facebook and you type in Orange Beach Invasion, you're going to see that Orange Beach Invasion it looks like it's the 25th through the 27th. So it was kind of pushed back a little bit. So it's the last weekend in March. That obviously a little bit of a change, but for some states, especially up north, they take their spring break at a different time. So it is presented by American Force Wheels, and we're looking forward to it. Orange Beach, Alabama, one of the biggest, baddest shows in the country. Now, if I remember correctly, I think Altered Metal, now that I'm looking at the dates, I think it's that same weekend, which obviously, there'll be, a little bit of, a split there on where people end up going. Of course, that's Rainy, Louisiana, so we just had Kim on last week to talk about it. But I'll kind of draw the line in the sand there. I mean, really, we talked about Mini Nats. That'll be one of our key shows after that. And, of course, Sparks in the Park. That's Florida. That's going to be the first weekend in April. So, we'll start to hit on those dates a little bit more as we get into December and January to start kind of ringing some of that stuff home. Mike, anything else to add to the key show updates, homie?
Bro, the only thing I gotta update or I gotta say is just don't forget Eastbound Get Down, Destination Daytona, January 21st through the 23rd. EastboundGetDownShow.com. Go pre-register now, guys. Get your asses to Daytona in the month of January. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. You don't want to miss it. That's all I can say, bro.
Hells yeah, brother. So the key show updates brought to you by minitruckfilm.com. Yes, you can buy a Blu-ray or DVD based upon a documentary of your favorite lifestyle, this mini truck lifestyle. Go to minitruckfilm.com and pick up a copy of The West Coast Influence. So, Mike, dude, the podcast updates, man. Really the only update that I think we've got is I want to thank you and Mrs. Mayer for bagging and tagging and shipping all of the merch out, dude. What an amazing pre-sale.
Bro, the pre-sale was off the chain. Bro, I'm still bagging fucking shirts in my damn sleep over here. But yes, it's all good. And I'm still listening to that damn printer. Jeep. Fucking printing out all those goddamn pieces of paper. But guys, thank you for all the support. And fucking hats off to Graphic Disorder, because the artwork was absolutely killer. I mean, Eric and crew absolutely killed it over there with that artwork.
Top ropes, man. Love it. Visit ourlifestylepodcast.com. You can pick up Mini Truckin'. It's in our DNA. That's our new shirt. And Mike, check this out. I was thinking about this the other day. We got 5 stickers out of the shirt. We got the rear artwork. We got the front OLP logo based upon popular demand. We have just the truck, just the other truck, right? So on this one, we have Brooks Ranger, we have Karen's Yoda, and then we have the slogan saying, Mini Truckin', it's in our DNA, based upon popular request. So there's plenty of stickers out there. We do our best to charge you right at the shipping that we get charged, and you can go out there and cop those. We have some hoodies available. Go through the other styles as well, and just go ahead and cop some stuff up, man. We're ready for the holidays, and we've got some more stuff coming.
Oh, definitely. We definitely got some more stuff coming. Welch's Chop Shop's going to be cutting up some metal artwork for us here coming soon. So we'll have some more metal signs. We sold out of all the metal signs we had last go round, and we got more coming. So just pay attention to it. We'll be posting, and we'll be letting everybody know when those new metal signs come in.
Yeah, and speaking of that, here's a quick public service announcement. I've been wanting to say this. I think I have said this before. Do not give money to anyone that hits you up through Instagram that's like, yo, I can draw a cartoon of your vehicle, okay? That's the way that these people are sucking other people in. What they do is they're screenshot Willie guys. They take screenshots of pretty much everything that Brant does in the scene, right? The damn photos coming off the printing press, right? The T-shirt press and everything. And they basically front like that's them that design all this stuff. And they've got, look at the screen names. They're really weird ones. And, of course, they'll hit you up and go, hey, I could draw a cartoon of your car. Send me money. And my understanding is they'll say, hey, send it to PayPal, friends, and family. If you guys don't know or you haven't been using PayPal a long time, PayPal probably used to get burned all the time on stuff. So the way it works now is if you send friends and family, there's no fee for that, if you have the money in your balance or like if you transfer it from your checking account. So with no fee, there's no recourse. There's no benefit, right? So they basically go, man, you just sent $50 or $100 to someone you don't know. Sorry about your luck. A lot of people will DM us and go, hey, is this real? So look, I would tell you, man, if you see anything with OLP, the only way to buy it is at a show from Mike or I or someone helping us out, right? If we're not physically at the booth, or on our website, ourlifestylepodcast.com. We don't sell on eBay. We don't sell anywhere else. Now, technically the storefront is on Facebook. So eventually you'll be able to buy through Instagram, through our official page, right, through the shopping experience. But other than Facebook, our website, or at a show, Mike, I would just tell people, do not PayPal people money. And I don't think you or I have even ever hit anybody up to say, hey, please buy a shirt.
Well, my new side gig, I don't know if I figured I'll go ahead and just let you know now. I can't even read the name that I came up with. Guys, my thing is if you can't read or understand the damn name of this person that is asking you for money, why the hell would you send them money in the first place? That's what I don't understand. Because every one of these damn fake, phony-ass people that I've seen so far, not one of them I can understand their damn name or read or spell it or pronounce it. So why the hell would you send them any goddamn money? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, someone tagged me in one today. I'm not even going to give the guy's name out. It's graphic disorder, like every single piece he's done. I even tagged Ken Diggett in it. He's got Ken Diggett stuff, and Ken Diggett chimed in, and he said, legit, I got scared that we accidentally ordered more Nova shirts, but real talk, can we stop scamming people already? Like, dude, again, this PSA is just to help you guys, and I know sometimes people wonder, like, what's our mindset with it? But bottom line is, yeah, man, don't lose your hard-earned money to some scam artist.
For real.
Yeah, the podcast update's brought to you by Joey at Get Decked. Mike and I have told you time and time again, if you're a show promoter and you want to take your awards to the next level, maybe do a top 10 with some badass artwork, or you're a merchandise brand or a show and you want to put your artwork on a deck, look no further than Joey at Get Decked. Just search Get Decked on Facebook or Instagram, and it's Joey Dilworth, right, Mike?
Yes, sir. Joey is the man, and we will definitely be having some more. Before we get to LST, we will have more of the skate decks with our awesome artwork on it, too. And make sure that you don't buy it from some guy in China named Ying Hong Pong Huang and trying to be like us.
Dude, that I'm offended, man. Don't be saying that. You know what I mean?
Oh, my bad.
All right, last couple things, Airhead Nation updates, man. So, Mike, dude, this one, it's close to me, and many of you have seen this going around on social media, and we need all the thoughts and positive vibes and or prayers, whatever you guys do. Please think about and say a prayer for our homie Neil Stark, okay? My brother in Severed. I last saw Neil at Southeast Mini Truck and Nats, one of our favorite shows. And Neil, I tell you what, is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He has that 74 Courier. Many of you know, if you don't know his name, you know that that copper-colored truck was in Street Trucks. Amazing truck. But right now we're talking about a person, a homie, a brother, a husband, a dad. We often don't get the opportunity to talk about, someone in a situation like this. And what I would tell you is, I don't want to give, it's on Facebook. He's got some health challenges right now. I'm not here to talk about what it is or that type of thing, but I would just ask you please say your prayers. His wife has been providing updates, and the update this morning was that he had developed some bacterial pneumonia, and his kidneys weren't working and things like that. So, dude, he's a young guy. He's always taking his boys out, I think, doing the dirt bike stuff, and they're just really good people. So, Mike, we need all the vibes we can get.
Dude, always thoughts and prayers to him, his family. A quick recovery for our boy Neil.
Yeah, and you'll see the hashtag going around and like the severed logo that says Team Stark. Just again, Neil Stark. Let's hope that he can be the Tony Stark here. You know what I'm saying, and just get through this. You know what I mean?
10-4.
Adam, so to kind of change, shift gears a little bit, Adam Tarbox and Ashley, he says, happy anniversary to my beautiful wife. You're such an amazing person with a big heart. That was back on October 13th. Dude, Adam, great guy, repping Acro. Saw him a couple weeks ago. I mentioned I saw his truck up on the trailer. Just a good dude, keeps the pedal stomped, and, man, just so happy for them.
Absolutely, and anybody that can put up with Adam definitely deserves congratulations.
Last but not least, Ruben. So he posted on October 17th and said, glad my nephew Adam is okay. The car can be replaced, but looks like it can be rebuilt. Dude, this Mustang, older Mustang, I mean, dude, this classic car was just crumpled in the front passenger side. And, oftentimes, you'll see these old cars and you kind of know, man, the steel was better, I think, back then. But, in these older cars, they didn't have the crumple zones and they weren't built the way newer cars were, whether we could argue that all day. But when someone gets in an accident in one of these older cars and it's a tough accident like this was, I mean, you see these things just smashed up and you're like, God, I hope everyone was okay. My understanding per his post, his nephew Adam is okay, and we're glad to hear that.
Oh, no, absolutely. And, bro, since we're giving all these shout-outs, man, we got to give our boy Ron Perkins a shout-out. Happy birthday, brother. It's a little belated, but still, happy birthday, Ron. Sorry we missed it last week, but shout-out to Ron and, to many more, of course.
Well, we may have missed it. He is flying back in. By the time you guys hear this, when he comes back in, I mean, it is going to be Preston's born day. And, so Ron was talking about, trying to celebrate, do this big blowout and all this stuff. I was like, well, man, it's kind of a work night. And he goes, man, listen. He goes, I don't care what you got going on the next day. He goes, dude, let's do the trifecta, man. He's like, we'll stop and get Preston some lotto tickets. We'll do like a $500. That's usually what Hank will do. And I don't know if you've ever seen Hank. When Hank buys them, they try to give them to him, and he goes, oh, no. He goes, I'm not scratching them. I want you to scan every one of them. I'm not wasting my time, dude. I want you to scan them right there, and I don't care if there's a line for some smokes. I'll scan them and tell me if I won. And they try to tell them they can't do it. But basically what Ron wants to do is do like the $500 lotto stop, hit the dog track with Preston, and then hit the bottle club. And I was like, man, he's got school the next day. And he goes, man, if he's going to run with Hank and I on the future tour, we got to learn them,
No, absolutely. You got to break them. You got to break them in the right way, for sure.
Right. So right now, I bet you right now he's driving, listening to this, right? And Ron, don't drive off the road laughing, okay? But seriously, he is on the world tour, and believe it or not, if you're listening on Friday, like Hank and Ron always do, they're actually on their way to Last Resort. So we don't talk about this show enough, but October 22nd through the 24th. Jennings, Louisiana is Last Resort. So to Stuart and the family, those guys have pushed their brand, the KIK, and they've just continued to do great things, and I love to see that. They've got a great following of folks, and we hope that everyone this weekend just enjoys the show Last Resort.
No, absolutely, and that's one of the shows that I still have not been to yet, and definitely look forward to going to one day. And, hats off to those guys for being able to do what they've been able to do with Last Resort, but then also KIK. I noticed that they also, I believe it was their anniversary as well. Stewart and his wife. It was either birthday. It was either birthday or anniversary. It's one of the two. I remember seeing it, scrolled through. I believe it was happy birthday or happy anniversary, whichever it was. Happy, 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 and congratulations to what they've been able to do with KIK. Because I just noticed they just got the new trailer, so they're definitely doing big things over there with KIK.
Hells yeah, I love it. And again, want to thank Hammered Weekend Wear. It's HAMMERD weekendwear.com. You can go out there and you can pre-order just in a week or so. They're going to have their new, or not pre-order, you can go order stuff. It's all shipping right now. They are going to have the new pre-sale going very soon around the 1st, and then we're going to be into what I've dubbed HDWW open enrollment. Okay, so open enrollment is coming around December 1st, and that's where you can get patched into the yearly subscription. It's pretty awesome, Mike. You'll get every shirt. You can pick the colors. You can pick the sizes. We'll reinforce that more as we get closer to the holidays. But just know your significant other, whether it's a male or a female, a husband or wife, significant other, whatever, just know there's potentially no other better gift, Mike, than an HDWW yearly subscription to all the T-shirts. I think there's 6 times 2. I think there's going to be 12, something like that. So, dude, get in where you fit in, like Too Short said. You know what I mean?
Hey, and I think the only thing better than that is I think he's going to do a subscription on the posters, the banners, too.
Dude, he's doing a subscription on lotto tickets, bottle club tickets, dude, the dog track ticket. Bro, I told him, bro, if he could do all 3 of those, that would be the triple crown of mini trucking, dude. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I think the only thing better than that would be some damn Copenhagen. We do subscription to some Hammered Weekend Wear Copenhagen, and I think we'd be good to go. I mean, dip, spit, dip, spit, dip, spit, dip, spit.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Well, Mike, as we wind it down, okay, the last thing I wanted to mention, I didn't talk about this last week, right? But when I want to thank Billy Bob, I want to thank Matt Weathers, I want to thank Rickety Ron, I want to thank Hammered Hank. I want to thank Mom Dukes. You know, we all had a chance, Buddy and Ryan, and Ryan's
hey,
brother.
Buddy.
Hey, buddy. They all came by the compound, the Ballard compound, and I wish my dad was there to hang out because he loved having people over. And it was the Friday a couple weeks ago, right before the show, before Slamfest. And, you know, typically when people come in town, they're like, oh, you know, it's not easy to get people to come through because, you know, they either want to hang out with the homies or they got other stuff. And I thought, well, why are they going to hang out by the pool down there at the motel? They could come by. So they came by in the afternoon. We had a good time. Dude, it was a smashing good time, Mike. I mean, dude, I was having a great time. And, you know, the rumor was I came off the top ropes. You know what I mean? Hank was getting a little, you know, squirrely. He was, getting a little loose. You know what I mean? So I had him in a headlock, and then I threw him over the pool. And next thing you know, like a little scuffle broke out. You know what I'm saying? I came out, you know, a little scathed, not unscathed, right? I came out a little scathed, and but dude, I was in the catbird seat at the show over the weekend, and people said, "Hey, what happened?" And I said, "Yo, man, it was a scuffle." So listen, Hank's fine. You know, we've worked out our problems, and everything's good.
Okay, so that explains why your face was swelled up.
Yep.
Okay.
Right. Dude, if you're a real G, you got to say swolled up.
Oh, swolled up. My bad.
Right.
Bad.
So
Can you
like
spell that?
Yeah, like swole. You know what I mean?
Like swole?
Like when I came to your house last time, remember on the stoop you had like the weight bench. That's like when you're working out on the front porch, you're getting swole. You know what I mean? That's where Hank's gotten swole. That's why, dude, we got in the scuffle, man. And it was a little thing. You know, we said some words and stuff. It started as a wrestling deal, and I think it ended as a wrestling deal. You know what I mean? We didn't know if it was like an Andy Kaufman spin, maybe a Tom Green, but you know, there were some words that were said. You know, Hank basically didn't listen to what Ron was saying, and Ron jumped in, started swinging, and I don't know if you saw that play the other day in the Steelers game where the guy was like punching it. He was trying to punch the ball out, but he was punching the guy. And then the referee that's on TV said, "Man, it looks like he's getting assaulted." That's what I felt like the other day when I was going blow to blow, you know, blow for blow. You know what I mean? Not what you're thinking. You know, we were going blow for blow. You know what I'm saying?
Is that No homo?
Yeah.
Blow for blow?
You know,
okay, just making sure.
And then when you take someone and you throw them over the side of the pool and you land hard in the pool, like you could get scratched up. You know what I'm saying?
10-4.
So, but everything's good now. There's no problems. I mean, if there was problems, we wouldn't be shouting out hammered weekend wear, you know?
True story. But hey, Ron don't have no problems with you. That was you and Hank that had that issue.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, Ron offered, you know, to take me home and everything, man. Like he goes, dude, I got the fuel. You know, I got the petro. You know, he wasn't trying to get me to charge his Tesla for 5 minutes. That's for sure. Dude, can you believe a guy was like, yo, can I get a 5-minute charge off your car? And I was like, dog, I've never heard, bro. I've heard people bumming fuel, but come on, man. Dude, you got a Tesla? I should have tried to buy the Tesla to put into your freaking truck, dude, the motor.
Okay. Well, all I know is I hope that you guys, because of this little scuffle, that y'all cut back, all right? Now listen to me, those Mike's Hard Lemonades that you like so much, I hope y'all cut back on those Mike's Hard Lemonades. And, you know, I told you not to be drinking too many of those damn things.
Dude, they were, bro, man. Those are some sugary ass drinks you gave me, man. Remember you bought those for Christmas that year?
Sure.
Well, Mike, I think we've hit the end of the road here, bro.
Hey, absolutely, my man. Hey, I appreciate you letting me come in. I appreciate you giving me that $30 phone call from prison, and I'm gonna go back to my cell now and get me some sleep. So thanks for letting me come on. This will probably be the last time that I'm on. So y'all have a good night, Airhead Nation. It was nice being able to get back on here with you guys. And until next time.
Have fun tonight, Mike, and then be ready. We're going to roll into Chad Moss and team, and then we'll roll in with Ed Eyster. Have a safe weekend, everyone. We out ya. Peace.
See ya.
Yo, so as I mentioned here, just finished up with Miggity Mike, who's gallivanting. We got the big homie Chad. What's going down, my brother?
Man, not much, dude. Just kicking it. What you got going on?
Dude, kicking it out here on the east side. I know you're throwing up the Third Coast, you know what I mean, out there in Texas.
Always, man. Third Coast, baby.
Dude, Layin At The Lake. You guys have been on the rise, right? You've been putting in the work. You've been networking. Dude, Layin At The Lake is coming up. Give us the elevator. You know, what's the who, what, why, where, when? Some of those key items that everybody needs to hear from you, Chad.
Right on, man. So, Layin At The Lake, November 12th through the 14th, and Salmon Lake Park in Grapeland, Texas. Man, this is going to be our 4th year, and every year coming up to this year, man, we've doubled and tripled the past year, and so far we've got 200 and almost 230 pre-registrations already, man. So we've already passed 2020's numbers. So, man, we're pushing for a big event, man. Big event.
I love it. If you go to their Instagram, Layin At The Lake, so Layin at the lake, you'll see that they got a link in their bio. When you go to the website, Chad, there's a lot of good information. You guys have done great with this website. What should someone know that's maybe a stone's throw away and they're going to cruise in, right? Can they do day of show registration? Like, what is that process going to be like?
Yeah, man. So we stopped pre-registration on October 1st just to kind of give ourselves some time, you know, to get ready, get everything straightened out before the show. Mm-hmm. We're going to have registration at the front gate Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all weekend long.
Oh, good.
So it's we're gonna have it, man. So anybody that's, you know, coming from out of town, out of state, it's going on, dude. So there's no reason not to show up. And I mean, it's unlike any other show, man. It's super laid back, just an all-time, you know, just all around good time, man.
Yeah, I love hearing it. The great thing about it is I love the artwork in the real trucks that are on your flyer. As you mentioned, the 12th through the 14th, you've got a lot of great sponsors, but it looks like Airlift. We've continued to see them step up, and they're the stage sponsor. What does it feel like to have a show that, like you said, 4th-year event, but you have such big names that have come on to show their support?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, when we landed Airlift last year for the stage sponsorship, man, I was kind of smitten a little bit, man, because I mean they're one of the big dogs in the industry, you know, and it was just it was cool to see, such big names in the industry and in the scene, come on and support our event. And I mean, hopefully they keep coming back year to year, man. So we're lucky to have them involved. And, also our great title sponsor, Delta Tire and Custom Wheels. They're great, man. They've got some big builds they're bringing out this year for Layin At The Lake. They actually sent me some sneak peek pictures. They just started on one Friday, so they're going to have it done in about 3.5 weeks. So it's going to be a good time, man. Good time.
Yeah, fantastic. And for those that don't know, Airlift Performance has been around since approximately 1949, so they're no newcomer to the scene, as Chad mentioned. The other awesome thing that I saw was we've got a lot of good family in the Committed Car and Truck Club. They're celebrating their 5th anniversary. How good of a feeling does it have? There's so many great guys and ladies in that club there in Texas and the surrounding states. How good does it feel that they're going to be celebrating their 5th anniversary right there with you guys in Texas?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, Committed. I mean, those guys roll deep, and that's a solid quality club right there, man. I mean, whenever they've supported us from day one from the show, and me being close with those guys, I reached out to them. I said, hey, man, if y'all don't have anywhere to host your 5th year anniversary, we would love to host you guys and get it set up and have a ball. We've actually got a lot of people know Egg Roll Hut. We've got them catered in Saturday night for Committed's big anniversary dinner. So I mean, they're rolling almost 70 deep, man, already in just pre-registrations for the show. And I mean, I've heard a couple extras, on the way. And I mean, these guys, I mean, they're debuting like 7 to 10 trucks, man, just for Layin At The Lake. So definitely stop by and check out Committed, man, because they're bringing the heat, no doubt.
Hell yeah, there's a lot of good people, as I mentioned, in the club, and that's kind of that's what you get when you go to a show like Layin At The Lake. Of course, November 12th through the 14th, there in Grapeland, Texas. The flyer itself at layinathelake.com has a lot of good information on it, including Chad Moss's contact information, the email, and then the dates and the times. The great thing that I also think is key is you have the awards at 1 p.m., of course, local time, which is Central, on Sunday, and that's a great way to get people back on the road and out of town, right?
Yeah, man, no doubt. I mean, because we literally have people coming in from, all over the country. So, we want to get, we don't want to cut it short, but we want everybody, to get out of there, a good time of day and make a good dent in their drive home, because, I mean, some of these guys are driving, 15 plus hours, to Layin At The Lake. So we want to get them, get them in and get them out and have a great time while we're doing it. So.
Yeah, and for the time that everyone hears this, you're going to have about 3 weeks. So if you're on the fence, make the trek out. Now, don't just take Chad's word for it or mine. You can go on YouTube and type in 4 words, Layin At The Lake, okay? You're going to see 2 key partners. You're going to see Garage Gear Clothing. Of course, we love them. You can go out there, subscribe to their channel. They have several videos out there of different vehicles and just kind of walking around the show. And then you also have Keepin', Keepn, It Custom with a K. Also some good coverage and probably others. But, of course, those are the key ones that have shown up. And I always tell people, Chad, that you have all of these great people like Lonnie from Garage Gear that will go out to a show and make these videos. Use those to promote the event because people can see, like, wow, this is no joke.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, the more video coverage and media coverage, the better. I mean, we've got, 2 to 3, I think 4 magazines coming out this year. I know Street Trucks is going to be there. Damien with All Time Lows coming out, Underground Scene Mag, Full Throttle Mag. I mean, probably 4 or 5 different guys out there shooting video all weekend long, man. So it's the coverage will be there. So I'm telling everybody, man, bring your A game because I know for a fact there's going to be some shoots going on just because of the location and the scenery, man. It's a photographer's heaven, no doubt.
I love hearing it, man. What are you most excited about with you and your wife in terms of, teaming up and putting in all this work, as you get closer to it? I know it's a little stressful, but you got to be excited, man.
Oh yeah, man, no doubt. I mean, it's definitely crunch time right now. 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks from the show. But it's definitely cool to wake up Friday morning or even Thursday morning, man, and start seeing rides rolling in I go pick her up because she runs the front gate, so she's pretty tied up all weekend. I always make it a point, to go grab her, and her and I take a little ride around on the golf cart, and we just kind of get to soak it in and, kind of reap what we sowed, and see a quality event that, everybody's having a blast at, man. And that's what it's all about, bro. It's just, giving back to the scene and making a quality event.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And what I would tell people to do is, hashtag your photos, Layin At The Lake, and tag them on Instagram and or Facebook, and just go out there and have a good time. It's an awesome event. And, of course, it's pre-holidays, right? So it makes it a little bit easier. People getting away for maybe the last couple of weekends before they hunker down for the holidays. Any lasting kind of updates or anything else you wanted to share about Layin At The Lake coming up here in November?
Man, we actually, beginning of the summertime, there was some pretty torrential rains that came through that part of Texas, and the dam actually broke on the lake.
Wow.
And did a lot of damage and stuff like that. But my wife Emily, jumped to it and contacted the owners of the park and asked and said, hey, can we set up a GoFundMe, just to help you guys rebuild, repair, and help with revenue, because the summertimes, that's their hot season, man. That's their money makers, that lake. So, in a matter of minutes, we had a GoFundMe up and we raised over $10,000, man. And they had it back up and running inside of 2 weeks. So everything is as it should be, man. It is 100% go.
Wow, dude, that's amazing. And I tell you what, it takes some great people like yourself and your wife to step up and do some of the things like that. Dedicate your own time and help raise some funds for a great cause. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Well, Chad, we wish you all the luck, man, and we appreciate you always partnering up with us to, be able to do our part and promote the scene. We got a lot of love from Texas, a lot of people in different clubs that listen, even some people that kind of roll solo, but at the end of the day, going to shows and supporting the scene's what we're all about, and we really appreciate you and your wife, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We appreciate you guys and everything you guys do for the scene and giving us the opportunity to come on here and kick it for a few minutes and talk about the show, man. We really appreciate it.
You know how we do. So, everyone, we're going to conclude this piece. We're going to roll into Ed Eyster's audio. Have a safe weekend, everyone, and stay on the rise. My brother, we'll talk soon, Chad.
All right, man. Be good.
Hey, we're so excited to have Ed Eyster on. He's been on our list a while and got a chance to link up with the homie just a couple weeks ago. But, Ed, I just want to welcome you to the podcast, man. Thank you for all the support, and thanks for just being a big supporter of the truck scene.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it, and I'm so glad you asked me to come on tonight. This is great.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about trucks. You and I, when we get together, it's always a good time when we talk about trucks and the old stuff. You know so much about the history here, especially in Florida. But before we get to that fun stuff, share some details about yourself. Like, where'd you grow up? What's some of your background?
Well, I'm originally from Indianapolis, but I moved down here to Southwest Florida when I was about 6 years old, and so this is where I've lived ever since. And saw some mini trucks around town. Never really got into it too much, and I lived in a mobile home park, and a lot of the older folks there, they had some really cool cars. There was a guy at the end of the road that had a Lincoln with the suicide doors. It was like a dark forest green. And there's another guy with a red Porsche. And one of the guys had a Dodge truck, like the little red wagon. And so I'd see these things around, and I would go to some of the car shows around town, but I wasn't really into it. And there was a movie theater here, and we would see the mini trucks cruising by, and they would pull up nice and slow. And now remember, this is like in the late 80s, early 90s. And they'd pull up nice and slow to the speed bump, and they would ease up over it, and then they would just like slam it and just grind over it. And I would look at them and I'm like, man, that's just ridiculous. Like, that is just weird. Until I went to the grocery store and I picked up a mini truck, and just to be able to see what it was like. And then I'm seeing all the body mods and all these different crazy things. And I'm like, okay, this looks kind of interesting. So now there's going to be a mini truck show here in town at a Harbor Nissan dealership. And this was like April 20th of 91. And that's where I got to meet some people that I call friends today, 30 years later. I saw things that just really really blew my mind.
Heck yeah.
And I was talking to them about the club, about Gulf Breeze, and what they do, and what's the requirements to get in. And we got to talking, and the following month, May, I was a member of Gulf Breeze, and I have been ever since. And like I said, some of those people are still my friends today. So just by watching these, lower trucks trying to navigate their way over a speed bump at the movie theater to now doing this 30 years is just crazy.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. And you're real good with dates. And that was, I'm trying to remember, that was 30 years ago, you were saying this year, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
May 16th of 91 is when I joined Gulf Breeze.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I love how, we'll get into some of the ways, you kept your photos and all that. But so how old were you when you moved again to Florida?
I was 6 years old.
Yeah, so
I was in kindergarten.
Some memories up there, but most of your life's down here.
Oh yeah, I mean, even like after I got into the mini truck scene, I wanted to kind of figure out what it was like back in Indianapolis. If I were to live there, what would it be like? So I got a hold of Donnie Babb from Latest Craze and some of those guys, and just kind of like, this is back in the early like Street Source and email kind of stuff days. And Kerry Bewley, actually, he was featured, and he was there from Indianapolis. So I'm up there in town visiting some family. I wanted to go by and check out his shop. So we did. My wife and I went over there, and I talked to him for about 3 hours while my wife sat in the van reading a book, and she still reminds me about that today, about how she was stuck in the van. But she supported me. She loved it, and she just let me go over there. And, I'm talking to Carrie, and Donnie Babb's truck is, all primered up on sawhorses, doing some crazy work to it. And we got to talk about Project Indy. And it was just cool being able to meet people from back home where I was from, but, still, very influential in the scene.
No doubt. And it's pretty cool when you mention like Harry and some of those names from that area that are so tied to the culture, the mini truck culture from that area. And, Project Indy was cool because, that story when we had him on, like, it just was like mind blowing. But the small connection I have to there was back in, I always get the 2 years mixed up. I think it was 01, 02. It might have been 02, 03. And my buddy Russ and I, we flew up to Indy Truck Bash. And for some reason, I don't know if it was the show coverage or what, but when we went up there, we were blown away. This is 20 years ago now. How, like, you'd go to a lot of shows and you would see things like, mini truckers, right? So a lot of us had primer, we brought our stuff, we still bring our stuff out when we're working on it. But we were blown away at how many complete vehicles. Like, okay, it wasn't just paint on body, it was like boom, interiors all done. And I still look back at those photos from those couple years I went, and man, I got a chance to see a lot of cool stuff. But like you said, there's a lot of car culture there. But there's also it's heavily influenced, a lot of influence from mini truckers there too.
Oh yeah, like Dustin Haven and Todd Wilt, I believe. Those guys are just doing some crazy builds up in that area, so they were definitely holding the Midwest down.
Yeah, and I used to always go on, I'm glad you mentioned Latest Craze, I used to always go on their website, circa, 97, 98, 99, when websites were just at the infancy. But there were some clubs that would consistently, I think like Forever Low was one, Latest Craze, I believe, was another. And there's a few still that are out there. But I always thought that was cool because back in that time, it was pretty much the magazine, as you mentioned. But then we did have a little bit of opportunity with, the internet, right, starting to explode. And then, of course, SportTruck.com and Street Source, as you mentioned. But
Street Source, for sure.
Now, one thing that I think is pretty cool, you've done a great job of kind of, sometimes you'll be like, yo, check this out. This was back at such and such, like, little show in my area and things like that. Did you start, like, finding that you were going to shows when you linked up with the homies, like, in the club, and they're like, oh, well, we're going to this little show this weekend at this, I think there was one you went to, like, at a zoo, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, this is one of the things is, like, they did a lot, or they went to a lot of Bill Cox shows, Cruising Customs. And, I know a lot of people have their idea about Bill Cox, and, the whole joke is, like, you go to a Bill Cox show, you get a trophy, and, there's a lot of truth to that. But the thing is, a lot of people in the scene today, at least down here in Florida, like South Georgia area, I don't know if we would really be involved with the scene today like we are if it wasn't for Bill Cox, if it wasn't for Whitley and some of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going to a lot of Bill Cox shows, and yeah, you got trophies, but man, we got to get out of town. We got to go see some cool things, and we all hung out, and we'd go out to dinner one night, and just the camaraderie, the community, and that was just incredible.
Yeah.
There were some local shows, but yeah, we drive across the state over to West Palm. We went to Lion Country Safari, which is the one you're just talking about. They did a lot of shows over there, and that was so much fun. There was we talked about before off air was Water Mania. We've done Water Mania before, and that was just a fantastic location for a car show. And just to be able to go up there and hang out, and I mean, there at Water Mania, your vehicles were on display right there by the water slides, right by the lazy river, by the wading pool, everything, so we got to go in early, set up everything, go hit the water slides all day, and then once everything closed down, then we got to roll out.
Yes.
And so they did some pretty cool things like that. So I don't know if anyone's really doing those kind of things today, but that was legit. That was a lot of fun to be able to get out of town with your friends and just go chill out in a place like that.
Yeah, I know, like NC Tim, in Orlando, I think he would go to those shows as well. The other guy that would go to those is Hank from Hammered Weekend, where here's the crazy thing, I know, you guys, and, I never got a chance to go, we would go to, look at the trucks, but I think Hank he said that he was going for some other reason. I don't know, something about, so I was like, hey, okay, but in all seriousness, I mean, it did, when you look back at the old coverage, that was a cool backdrop, right, for those type of events. But I got to agree with you from, rest in peace to Greg Miller. He had shared the background to me when we had dinner one night. We were headed to Lone Star Throwdown, and we stopped, and we linked up with the homie. And I wish he was still here because, he had the tie-in to Whitley. And to your point, that was, you think about, back in the day with music, you had to have distribution, right? So you'd sign a deal, and then those record labels would have the in on getting your stuff on shelves and selling, hopefully. Well, the same thing, the distribution in the scene, if you will, was having an event, right? That people could come park in a parking lot, the camaraderie, that's where people started to slap hands. And, we don't, I truly think you're right. We don't give enough credit to Bill Cox and Whitley and those guys for doing what they did.
Yeah, it was definitely an awesome time. Growing up, going through my, late teens, early 20s, being able to do that kind of stuff. And, I got engaged at a Bill Cox show.
Dude, I mean, right there's a mic drop, bro. You know what I mean?
But, see, here's the thing. It was my girlfriend at the time, the one that proposed to me.
Ah.
So see, we were at a trophy ceremony. Yeah, we were at a trophy ceremony at a Bill Cox show down in Fort Myers. TGI Fridays. This is March 5th, 1994. And for some reason, my girlfriend's just nervous. She's, I don't know, she's not acting right, whatever. But we did invite my mom to go to the show. It's only 20 miles south, and we had great attendance from the club. We had a lot of people that, even they would show occasionally, they were at this show. So we had pretty good attendance. And at the end of the show, they're getting ready for trophy ceremony. And we knew Bill and Kathy, we've known them for a while, but I didn't know they knew my girlfriend's last name. So they say, is there a Tina Parrish out in the audience? And she said, yeah, she raised her hand. So I figured they needed help with passing out trophies or doing something, doing whatever. Well, then Bill Cox, he's, just teasing me about my display and just doing things like that. And next thing you know, he turns around and hands Tina the microphone. And she starts talking about, well, I have a special award for Ed. We've been, friends for a couple of years. We've been dating for a year and a half. And today I have a special award. And it says, she pulls this trophy out from behind her back. And it says, Ed Eyster, will you marry me? And
Dang.
I'm like, I know. I mean, this is, now I understand why she's nervous. And, my whole club is there. And, they captured this whole moment. So, yeah, she proposed to me. So that was pretty incredible. So, I do have fond memories of Bill Cox shows. It's very sentimental, other than just coming home with a trophy. And honestly, I still call her my trophy wife.
I love it, man. That's pretty cool. And we'll have to like update the OLP rule book to say like, man, if you got engaged at a Bill Cox show, you're immediately like, you're not OG, you're triple OG, right? I mean, just boom. I mean, just you're patched in. I like it, but
Well, that's a tick mark that I don't think David DeCorver's going to get.
yeah, where is Tick Mark Willie, man? I mean, maybe you know what? You got to be careful. He might try to stage a proposal at Sparks in the Park. This coming April up in the Panhandle. I mean, you never know, but I mean, dude, he's a lunatic.
I wouldn't put it past him.
I love it. But so you start going to these shows, right? And back in those days, I mean, from your recollection, did it seem like you guys were hanging out in the garage and you were going to, several shows a year? Because, I mean, they were kind of all over. Kind of what was the vibe circa early 90s going into the mid-90s? I mean, was it a lot of hanging out with the club and doing little cruises, meeting at Burger King and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, times were a lot simpler. Airbags weren't a thing. Torsion bars on blocks for moving a leaf, that was more of a thing. Someone needed some help with an interior, we kind of tackled that. And, I'm not a mechanical guy. I help how I can. But there's people that are great at turning wrenches and that do this kind of stuff. So yeah, there were several times that we would hang out and do that. And there was a local cruise night that we had, for the longest time. It was every second Friday of the month. We know that we would be there at the McDonald's by Books A Million. And there was a small cruise in there, and it was mostly the older vehicles. It was the Corvettes, the Mustangs, the Hot Rods, and whatever, and they played their 50s and 60s music and whatever. And I just wanted us to be represented because what we're doing today was similar to what they were doing back in the day. My 93 Mazda is their 69 Camaro, yes, or it's their, whatever Corvette. So, we had a bunch of body mods and things like that, and things were different, but this is what the teens were doing today. So I talked to the people that ran that show. And I said, hey, what would it take for us to do a Gulf Breeze choice just to be able to have a plaque made so that way we can kind of choose a vehicle every single month? Now, most likely it's going to be a mini truck or a custom truck. But if it could be some, crazy hot rod with some really cool body mods, we'll pick it, But we just want to kind of help promote ourselves and put ourselves out there. So they said, yeah, absolutely. So for several years, we had a plaque every night at that show, and we would go there and hang out. And even if we couldn't make it, if we were going to be out of town for another show, we would make sure we had someone represent and go there and be able to pick out an award for us or pick out a vehicle for us. So that really kind of gave us a good name in the community. It wasn't just a bunch of, riffraff mini truckers and whatnot, but, we were doing some cool things. We were doing some fundraisers for Labor Day telethon, and we were doing, cancer walks, these, they would have these 18-hour or 20-hour things at the local high school, and you just kind of like walk the track, and it raised money for, Cancer Society. And man, we had so much fun just camping out in the football field and doing all those kind of things. We'd have some vehicles on display. So it was so much more than just car shows. We really did some cool things together in our community, and it was a lot of fun.
Excellent. When you were talking about how times were simpler, I remember being in high school. I had a buddy, Daniel, and he worked at this local place up the road here. Technically, I think it was Lutz. And it was a little place you could walk up and get ice cream, or I don't think they had smoothies. I think it was like a little ice cream thing where like the top opened, and you just stand there and get your stuff. Well, he would, in between customers, he would run out the side door, and he had an Isuzu pickup. And, back in those days, man, it was funny. I'd be like, man, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, man, I just took the AC vents. I'm painting them. And he'd have his spray going, just that little back and forth motion. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, okay, all right. So then the shift, like 2 hours later, all right, they're dry. Pop them in. But, we joke about that now, but there was something about the instant gratification, And back in those days, the mods, like as basic as they were, right? I mean, not even calling that a mod so much, but like, doing some flex stone on something, spray painting this and that, and doing a few things.
Splatter paint.
Yeah, and then boom, then the next day it was a couple other things, and before you knew it, it just was that, I don't know, it was that time, like you said, simpler times. I don't know how better to describe it, but they were definitely fun, weren't they?
Yeah, they weren't high dollar mods. Some of them could have been, but just the idea that, you knew someone that they either did stereo or they did body work or they did paint or they did interior or whatever happened to be, like someone had a specialty and they would jump in and do it, many times we would get together and just, like you said, tear apart your air vents, tear apart your interior, do things like that. And painting things, in your interior, trying to get everything to match, or taking things apart in your engine bay and painting things. So that was always kind of cool. There was a guy in our club, Bill Albright, and he really made himself a great painter. I mean, he started off, not knowing and absorbing from other people. And man, he could fade paint jobs. He could do flake. He could do some really killer scallops. And so he had some nice vehicles, and it was nothing for him to just tear into a new car. He had bought a 93 Honda Del Sol, and brand new off the lot. I mean, like, it still had the sticker in the window. And we're over at his shop, and he's kind of like pacing around the car. I'm like, what are you doing? He says, I'm about ready to French the antenna and shave the door handles. I'm like, you're going to do what? And next thing you know, he had a grinder go into the paint. Well,
hey,
like,
I mean,
man,
if you had a Bill Cox show coming up, man, those were points, dude. You throw,
it.
You throw a little walkie-talkie in there, and you had a home phone. You were pointing it up, man.
But yeah, he was good at paint body work, and he did a lot of work on my truck as well. So the French antenna and the license plate box and things like that, he did. And so yeah, I think he's living up in Alabama someplace right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did a lot of work along with Will Collins. We've talked about him with that purple 720.
Yes.
He was doing suspension and some paint and body and things like that. And so having people like that around was always awesome. They were always supportive.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing up Will's name, and you've kept Golf Breeze, with some of your club mates. You guys have kept it going. I would tell people, if you go on Instagram and type in Golf Breeze, GULF, you can see some of the posts that they've done. I posted before Will Collins' truck, and he passed away, as you had let me know, back in 2018, I think in August 13, 2018, right. After his battle with cancer. We had seen his 720 with the Phantom Grill back all the way back in the day at Blood Drag, and then it was featured, of course, in I think it was Truck and Mag. And what an awesome truck it was. But, rest in peace to the homie. Let's talk a little bit about your truck, right? So you hinted earlier, the 93 Mazda, arguably the most famous mini truck of all time. Like, if you really look through mini truck and every issue like I've done, you will see the B2000 or 2200. These trucks were featured just on an insane amount, because there were so many that were customized. There were so many that were awesome. It was the S10 before the S10. You know what I mean? But they're arguably some of my favorite trucks ever. I mean, I go back and forth. One day it's a Mighty Max. The other day it's, I got to go with the B2000 or 2200. Talk to us a little bit about how you acquired it and some of the things, in addition to what you just mentioned, that are done to this badass truck.
Sure thing. Well, I had an 86 Ranger at the time. That's when I joined Gulf Breeze, and it was already used, and it wasn't the greatest. It had some dents, and the drip rails had rust on it and everything, and I was already doing some work to it, but I wanted something fresh and something new. So since I like Rangers, and my dad and my uncles, they were always into old Fords, the 70s Fords and such, I thought, okay, I'm going to kind of continue this, and I was looking at a 93 Ranger. I was looking at a Super Cab, and I was able to go to the dealership and order it. And all I wanted was the 4-liter automatic. I wanted the biggest engine they had, automatic, and I wanted a smooth rear window because I wanted to be able to put in a big logo. But I didn't want the chrome. I didn't want the body package. I didn't want the stickers and all this other stuff, and just didn't want any of this other stuff. And so no problem. They said, okay, give us 2 months and it'll be here, or a month or whatever it was at the time. And it shows up, and it does have the 4-liter V6, but it had all this other stuff. And I'm like, because it had the sliding rear window and chrome rear bumper and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't want that. It's not what I was into. Oh, it's part of the package. Like, isn't this great? I'm like, no, it's not. It's not what I wanted. So I kind of walked away from that deal. So here I am now. I'm shopping again,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm at the local dealer, and I'm looking at the S10, which is about ready to, go out of style, or not really out of style, but they're about ready to stop producing those. And I'm looking at like a maroon Mazda. And they had something else there, and nothing was just seriously interesting me. Nothing was really catching my attention. And so they said, hey, look, we got one more coming in tomorrow. It's coming over from Fort Lauderdale. Come back and check it out. I think you might like it. I'm like, all right, whatever. And I liked Mazdas. There was a lot of cool ones in the magazines and such. But, after not being able to get my Ranger, I'm like, okay, now what am I going to do? So anyway, I went back the next day, and here's this black and chrome Mazda Cab Plus sitting there. And I'm thinking, man, I did not want black. Black is so hard to take care of. But I'm looking at it like, man, look at all that chrome. That thing is gorgeous. And I'm thinking, man, I didn't want black or chrome, but this thing is hot. So I'm like, all right, let's talk about this. So we struck up a deal. And so February 18th, 93, I bought myself this Mazda. So me being a Metallica fan, I'm thinking, okay, so I got to come up with a name. So Blackened or Fade to Black, those are all Metallica songs. I'm gonna have to come up with something. So that was Thursday when I bought the truck. Saturday, I'm at a car show with some friends at a local mini golf place called Pelican Pete's out in Inglewood. And I'm just there to help support them, for club participation, whatever. But my truck's not getting anything. I'm just there to hang out. But my buddy Ken Baker and I, we're about ready to leave that show that night because we're heading to Fort Myers to a Metallica concert.
Uh-huh.
So now we're on our way to the Metallica concert, and I'm sitting at a stoplight, and I hear screeching, and I look at my rear mirror, and there's a van sliding sideways at me and runs into the back of my truck.
Holy crap.
So
dude, it was Hank back in the day, before,
You know what? It may have been. I thought he looked familiar when I saw him later on. But, yeah, I took out the bed, the tailgate, taillight, and all this kind of stuff, and I'm thinking, it's Whiplash. That was the name of the truck. That was another Metallica song. And I'm thinking the truck basically just named itself. So, but that kind of started. I'm like, all right, well, it's already going to be cut up anyway. So we kind of started with the body mods. I got it straightened back out and got it back and everything, but it was slow. It's not like it's not an overnight build by any means. It took years to get there, but got a Sir Michael's roll pan for my birthday one year, and which is pretty cool. We're out to dinner at Olive Garden, and they bring in this big box, and sure enough, it's Sir Michael's roll pan. And my buddy Bill Albright Frenched in the tailgate, and I wanted to keep the black and chrome look, so I liked the chrome handles that were on it, but I wanted something custom. So we ended up calling Mini Truck Dismantlers out in California, and they sent me Miata handles. I saw the how-to in the magazine. I think it was Tom Lutz that did it, but he did it on his Mazda, and they had the how-to, get handled or whatever it was in mini trucking. So I copied that, ordered my handles, got them in, took them to a local body shop. They grafted them in, and they still work today. So that, and of course the Frenchton antenna and shaved regular antenna, the emblems, all the normal stuff. Another guy I know shaved my cowl, just made it nice and smooth and clean all the way across there, left little tiny holes, because I already took off my windshield wipers. Had the little billet studs to cover up the, the windshield wiper things, and I had Rain-X in the windshield. So I'm already not running windshield wipers. So we just decided, let's just shave the whole thing and just made it look nice and smooth. So one of the mods I did was because the day of the Columbine shooting, April 20th of 99, I believe it was, my mom was put to the hospital. She was having some heart issues, and I spent the day with her. And I left her in the hospital that night. She was doing fine. So I'm heading to work, and a guy runs a stop sign on me, takes out the whole front end of my truck. So long story short, talked to the body guy, and he's like, well, you can spend this much money on another stock bumper, or you can take that money and spend it on whatever you want. So I said, okay, so I can order this one here out of the magazine. And it was the FBI bumper where it was like a Toyota front bumper, molded
Yes.
top to bottom, and I had it stretched to match my Mazda fenders because you know how the Toyota bumper always comes up short on the Mazda fenders. So had it stretched, had it molded, had the turn signals reduced so they're a little bit smaller, and got the billet insert in the grill, billet insert in the bumper, and clear lights all the way around. And it felt like I was getting set. But one of the biggest things about the truck that I really like was right before we got married in '95. My mom wanted to get me something for the truck. And she said, you can order wherever you want. She kind of gave me a little bit of a budget, but she said, it's on you what you get. And I told her I wanted to get a topper. And I told her what I was looking for and this and that. She said, order it.
Nice.
So I ordered the Sprint topper with the polished frames and everything out of California. And this thing shows up and it just looked amazing. You know, I took pictures of it coming off the UPS truck or whatever it was, the freight truck. And so, yeah, that was a wedding present from my mom.
That's so awesome. Yeah, and you had posted in January of 2020, and you had mentioned that it was like 25 years ago, like because you had the dates like on the Sprint catalog, and that was pretty cool. Like it was from literally January 20th of '95, I think.
Yeah, you know, I still had the invoice and the old school paperwork that you had to like point out what you wanted and circle it and call them up. You know, there wasn't a website or anything like that. There wasn't email. It was like one of these, you know, paper pamphlet kind of catalog things.
Yeah, $474, and it was then $25 boxing fee, and you're like, sign me up, you know, you know, 400 and 95, 96 bucks, whatever. I mean, just amazing.
Yeah, the polished frames cost a little bit more, but you know, my mom was down with that, and I'm like, man, I wanted to do some timeless things to the truck. There's a few things that I had wanted to do and kind of talked my way out of, but I'm kind of glad the mods that I did, you know, the way I did them. It kind of gave it a timeless look. You know, the roll pans never kind of went out. You know, you can kind of tell it's period correct for the canted French license plate, you know, but, you know, as for everything else, you know, it seems to be pretty smooth, pretty timeless. It's never been bagged, and that's, you know, kind of an embarrassment on my part, but, you know, it was lowered, you know, blocks and torsion bars, remove a leaf or two, and it still rides decent, but it doesn't have a C-notch, it doesn't have anything like that, and you know, I've always had the idea that if I can't do it right, I'm not going to do it at all. And with the airbag suspension, it's just turned out to I haven't been able to do it at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, but you know, the cool thing is, it's kind of like a pair of shoes that haven't been worn for 25 years and they're found. It's like, you know, you would think, hey, how did someone not wear these Jordans or whatever? But then it's like, oh, well, man, I've got the perfect thing, right? So like the mini truck, I mean, you have this time capsule, you know, it's basically the way I see it. And did you, because I kind of wanted to ask you this, like, I remember seeing it at shows, you got the Colorado custom wheels on it, and I'm trying to think, like, when you recreated the photo this past weekend at Slamfest 30, like, when do you recall, like, maybe about the time you stopped showing it? Because I think it was, like, in that photo, it was 2001 to 2021, right? So that 20-year span. But
right.
When did you, like, kind of park it and put it on the back burner?
Well, I showed it there at Slamfest in '01 and I believe '02, but I just stopped progressing with it. You know, I stopped doing mods. If I can remember right, I want to say it was February 18th, 2001. I'll have to go back and look it up. And I'm sorry, 2001. It was the day that Dale Earnhardt Sr. died.
Oh, yeah.
Which is another weird way I'm able to remember this. But anyway, I'm at Blood Drag, and it's being shot for a feature.
Yes, I was there that year. I remember.
Yeah, so it was shot, and I was honored, just like amazed that they would even consider my truck. And, you know, so it was, and Travis Nowak shot it, and it was just an incredible experience. So now I'm going back and forth with Lance Martz, just trying to figure out, hey, when is it, you know, going to come out? You know, when can I expect to see this? And so I got this really cool email back from him, this really nice email saying that if you were to lower it some more, airbag it, body drop it, maybe put some color on it, maybe we can put it on the cover. which I thought was really cool. But I just stopped progressing with it. I'd stopped putting money into it. I'm a family man now. I have a son he was actually on his way the next year, 2002. But my wife's dad was dealing with cancer, and me putting money into this truck wasn't my priority. So it just stopped progressing. So I still took it to a couple shows here and there, but for Slamfest and things like that, I think the last time I showed it was 2002. I don't believe it was there in 2003. And I'd still go there. I still went every year and just supported my club and hung out and did different things. The club was kind of dwindling. Some of the guys had left and went to other clubs. And, that was cool. I was fine with that. I want nothing but the best for Gulf Breeze. But, they're still friends. It didn't matter what club they were in, I've heard the phrase, it's thicker than a sticker. And, I'm still friends and family with those guys today. But, I went to Slamfest all the way through, I think it was 2009 was the last time it was there in Tampa. And I stopped working on the truck. But Hurricane Charlie come in 2004, and I don't have a garage. I have a covered parking area at the time, and it sat outside. I put it up on blocks because we were expecting some pretty high water, and I did what I could, but there was a mobile home community about a quarter mile away, and those homes got destroyed, and a lot of the aluminum from those homes ended up in my neighborhood, and it just kind of wrapped around these concrete poles that where my truck is parked, and it just raked back and forth across my hood and across my fenders, across my windshield, and I got dents and gouges and scratches, and it's kind of weird looking at the photo because all this mangled metal all over my truck, but the hood still looks like glass. So you can see the truck still had potential, but it was just getting wrecked. And I'm like, well, it's still my daily driver. It is what it is. And I just, I'm not worried about showing it at the moment. So the next year come around 2005, and it does start to run rough. It's starting to have a tick or a knock in the engine. And I'm not wanting to, put a whole lot of money into it, but, I'm not mechanical. I don't know these things. I don't know what's going on. So I park it just to be cautious. And I'm like, okay, I don't want it to make it worse. I want to try to take care of this when I can. And I parked it. And there was a guy I knew that had a shop here in town. And he said, man, I go to SEMA every year and I do all these different things. Let me take the truck back to my shop. Let me check it out. I'll figure it out. And if it's something big, I got sponsors. We're going to get your truck and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be running for you. I'm like, seriously? Okay. So he takes it and he gives me an update every once in a while. And he tells me, hey, I'm looking at this and I'm checking into that and we're doing whatever. So I'm not pushing him. He's not charging me. But over the course of a year, things start slowing down and I'm not getting as many updates. So finally I get this call and says, hey, look, landlord's on me. I got too many vehicles here. I got to get your truck out of here. I'm going to drop it off of your house. I'm like, okay, so where are we at? What did you do? What do I need to do next? And he said, well, the top end's been sitting open on the engine for the last several months. You're probably going to need a new engine. Dang. So I'm just devastated.
Yeah, true.
I'm like, great. So what could have been, maybe I needed a new engine is now for sure I need an engine. So it just pulled the rug out from underneath me. It just really kind of defeated me. And okay, it's going to sit there. It is what it is. And I've had it stored at my house. I've had it stored at another friend's house, but it's just always been outside. There wasn't any need for me to go try to start it up or try to polish the paint or anything like that. It just sat. So that was since 2005, basically. It's sat out in every hurricane and every storm and everything that we've had down here, Southwest Florida, the salt air, everything that has to offer. So now Slamfest 30 is coming up. And every year I've been going to the show, people keep asking me, hey, man, do you still have Whiplash? Do you still have it? And then the joke is, well, it still has me. I still have it, but, it's just in bad condition. I look at it every day, and it's just kind of depressing. I'll go out and sit in it every once in a while, but it's just kind of sad. But Slamfest 30 is coming up, and I'm thinking, man, it'd be really cool just to have the truck out there, just to have it, just to show people. And I've been back and forth all year long. I registered it in April when Pre Reg opened up, and I'm thinking, should I not? It's embarrassing to be in this condition, but it's sentimental value. I'm going to take it because people keep asking. So anyway, even like the week leading up to Slamfest, I'm on the fence. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But the goal was I'm going to at least push it onto a trailer, push it off the trailer, and let it sit there, and we can reminisce and talk, whatever. Well, last Wednesday, the Wednesday before Slamfest, I get home from church that Wednesday night, and my truck is missing. And I look at my wife, and I ask her, what did you do? What happened? And she says, I hope you're not mad.
You hope Chip Foose is involved, or Mike Murray or someone.
Gosh, I'd always joked with her. I was like, I need to leave a note in the glove box. That way, if it does get stolen by Chip Foose, I will act stupid if Chip Foose has it, but I'll leave a note in there saying these are the things that I want done, But that would be incredible. But similar thing happened. I was going back and forth with some of the guys on Facebook, and Pat Elliott and all the guys from Lost Prophets. They were encouraging me. And, because Pat Elliott was a Gulf Breeze member back in '93, and
Nice.
Eric Barrett was a member, in the 2000s, early 2000s. And, so these guys were like, you need to bring it. You need to get it out. You need to do this. And I'm like, man, I want to. What's the point, kind of thing, whatever. And I'm just going back and forth. Well, anyway, Pat, I guess, got a hold of my wife, through Eric and everything. And they're like, we want to come get the truck. We want to come take it. So they took it up to Pat's house, sent a flatbed rollback trailer down here, scooped it up, and took it up to his house and had it up and running within the hour. And I was just amazed. I mean, because I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know any of this till I got home from church that night. And my wife's telling me, and she's showing me the video on her phone that Pat had already sent her. And, they changed out the filters and all the fluids, and he's working on this and working on that, doing all this other stuff. And just, I heard it running. I haven't heard it running in like 16 years. And I just got all emotional. Like, this thing, there's hope. There's a possibility this thing's going to live, and it was just crazy. So, like, these guys were not taking no for an answer. Like, not only did they want it at Slamfest, but they wanted me to be able to drive it. They wanted to give me that blessing. They wanted to be able to give me that experience. And it's just so overwhelming. Like, I'm not worthy of that. And just incredible.
Well, what I would encourage people, I have always had a hard time of asking for help. Just because I'm like, well, I don't want to bother people, but you have to understand there's a lot of people out there that always that want to help, that say, hey, like a Madu or Pat or some of these Lost Prophet guys, they're no stranger to getting their hands dirty, right? They've had trucks,
Absolutely.
like, you can do some stuff maybe that they can't do. So to hear that, like, even at the show, they were over there making lists and trying to get this and do that, and some of these guys, even like Jeff from Mini Garage, man, up in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, dude, they can pull a motor and have swaps done in a matter of hours, right? Whereas, you and I, it might take us longer. So that's what I would tell people, don't be ashamed or afraid to link up with the homies. In your case, was reaching across the line to a different, club, so to speak. But don't be ashamed to want to, progress ahead and asking, hey, man, would you guys be willing to come over and, I'll throw some burgers on and help, because, again, there's a lot of people that do want to help, and they'd rather help you and see the truck rolling. And Ed, I know, this is hard for me to comprehend sometimes. Like Like, I'll let something sit, for 4 years and then find out it only took like a weekend to fix, like what you were saying. And you're going, well, dang, if I would have just did this 4 years ago, like, wow, what could it have been, right? So, that's my encouragement to everyone.
Well, that's what I'm dealing with, is because knowing now that the guy never did tear anything apart in my engine, because when I saw it, I'm thinking, it doesn't look like he's messed with it. There's oil on the head bolts. Doesn't look like anything's been taken apart. Everything is back together. So whatever he did take it apart, he put it back together the right way, And, but I'm thinking, it's sat open, it's corroded, there's water in there or moisture, whatever. So to me, it was pointless. There wasn't any asking for help. I'm out shopping for a donor truck. I'm looking for, a truck with a decent engine, transmission, something with low miles. Maybe it has, the fenders and the hood that I need, or maybe even four-wheel drive. I would love to have four-wheel drive sheet metal on this thing. So these are kind of the things I was looking for, but not, hey, let's put a battery in and switch the fluids and turn this thing on. That wasn't a possibility, because I was told my engine was shot. It was done,
Yep.
And for him to, take this thing and tear into it, and he's told me for months, if not well over a year or so, that he wants to be able to do this. Like, he's a Mazda guy. Pat is a Mazda guy.
Yep.
And he says, I know what I'm doing. I know how to do this. I've owned all these Mazdas. Let me take a look at it. At least let me try it out. And it's not that I didn't trust him. It's just a matter of, I really kind of thought it was pointless. And, I don't have money to throw at it right now. And, I haven't in quite some time. And it's just, I just didn't see the point in it. I never thought it was a possibility they were going to get this thing running. But they got it running, and they were doing all this work to it. And him and his wife, I was just so amazed. So went up to his house on Friday, right before Slamfest. The day, registration opening, and they're all, setting up vehicles inside. And we're grinding away on this truck that day. We're replacing parts, and we're doing different things, and just, the top end's not the top end, but the air cleaner, everything's still off the engine, and the AC compressor is off to the side, and the brake calipers are hanging out, and he's still got all this work he's trying to get done. And just grinded it out, man. Did what they couldn't get the brakes just right. So anyway, now everything's buttoned back up, and we're back down on all four wheels. Got the Colorados, bolted on. And so now we're having problems with the transmission. I can't get it to quite go in gear. So we bled the clutch several times and did different things and made some adjustments. So it was amazing. I'm sitting in that truck running, but I just can't throw it into gear. So we ended up pushing it onto the trailer 9:30 that Friday night, between 9 and 9:30. And, feeling slightly defeated, I really felt bad for Pat and his wife. But I'm thinking, my truck is alive, and it's running, and it's going to Slamfest. So I'm over the top, right? I'm just all giddy. And so we get it on the trailer, and my son and I head out, go to the hotel, get up early Saturday morning. We go hit the car wash and just pressure wash this thing, and just years of waste just melted away.
Yep.
And it was cool to see that again. So now it's at the show, and I'm not even through registration. It's still in the trailer waiting in line to get in, and people are taking pictures of the truck, tagging me in it.
Oh,
And, they're recognizing the truck. They see the truck. And I'm like, are you serious? It's just overwhelming. It keeps getting better.
yes,
So
it does.
now the truck is just sitting there at Slamfest, and people are coming by. They see it. They're talking to me about it, and everyone is super encouraging. They're like, it's not nearly as bad as what you said it was. I'm like, well, did you see this rust here, or did you see this over here? Did you see this? And they're like, man, that's just body work. We can, that could be taken care of. And the interior held up, really well. It's faded a little bit, but it held up.
Yeah, there's far worse that have been brought back. And, what I would tell people is you can also follow Ed on Instagram, the infamous Mr. Mister Ed, with some underscores in there. But Ed Eyster on Facebook, it's Eyster. Go on and check out some of his photos. Yeah, Ed, I mean, to me, seeing what the truck was 20 years ago, some of those cool photos, like with the bridges in the background, some of those you've shared with us and we've shared in the past. And, I mean, it's such an iconic truck. Obviously black, not an easy color to kind of maintain and keep up. But I truly think with a little bit of elbow grease that you put into it, and, whether it's resprayed or whatever you end up doing, you're going to find, at the age that you are now for the next, 5, 10, 20 years, I mean, you're going to enjoy the heck out of that truck.
Well, it looks like that's what's going to happen. This Sunday, or actually Saturday afternoon at the show, Madhu come up to me, old school Mazda guy. And so he's talking to me about the truck and what's wrong with it, this and that. And I tell him this is where we're at. And he said, oh, okay, all right, because he understands, he comprehends all this stuff. He comes back to me like an hour or two later and says, hey, look, I ordered all the parts. I got to go pick it up. We'll have this truck rolling tonight. I'm like, say what? He says, just give me some time. I got to get the parts. Well, I guess maybe the parts didn't come in Saturday. But Sunday morning, he's over at my truck, and he's wreshing away on it.
Dude, Madhu is an animal, dude. He can get anything going. And he has the Trucksarosa truck that people may not know. We talked to Madhu at Southern Tradition all the way back in 2020. I think it was Southern Tradition when we talked to him. I can't remember, but Madhu's a good dude, and he drives his truck roadster style, state to state, no top, in the pouring rain. Dude, the guy is a dedicated dude, man.
He lives in like North Georgia, near Chattanooga area. Drove it all the way down to Tampa, Florida with no top.
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, between him and Hank, it's hard, who gives a less about just, keeping the pedal stomped, I mean, last year when he left the show and he drove home, he got home, he told me, and his shoe was basically melted to the floorboard of the truck because the floorboard was so hot he had no carpet in it. And he just, and you would think, okay, that's a once in a lifetime. The next year, he just jumps back in, dude, like the Dukes of Hazzard style, and he's hauling, what down here. Yeah.
So, I mean, he knows what he's doing, but so he's over there wrenching on it and tinkering with it, doing this and that, and making some more adjustments and whatever. So he was able to help me get it into gear and get it started at the same time, because before we could get it started, but I couldn't throw it into gear. Or if it was in gear, I couldn't get the car started, couldn't get the truck started. So anyway, we were able to get this thing in gear with it started, and I'm thinking, I'm going to go cruise this thing. I haven't driven this thing in years. So I let the clutch out, and I start driving it through the show, and some of the friends around there from Lost Prophets, Tiffany and them, they were like yelling for my son, Eddie, to get over here, grab the camera, give me your camera, go jump in the truck. So my tire needed air. I got a slow leak in one of the tires. And Tiffany's daughter, Jasmine, she says, hey, I got an air tank with a chuck on it. Meet me over the truck. So instead of me taking the short way right directly to her truck, I'm like, I'm taking the long way. I'm going to go cruise this thing. And just telling you what, man, driving this thing through the show, people were yelling at us, like, hey, it's Whiplash, or it's alive, or, congratulations, whatever, David Schulman was congratulating me, and TC, from Mindy Madness, he was like, I didn't think you brought it, and like, you're driving it, and just seeing friends and just the smiles, and it was just overwhelming. I'm just so emotional about the whole thing, and just I got to cruise it, I got to drive it, and I got to share that moment with my son. He's 19, and the last time he rode in that truck, he was in a little kid's car seat strapped into it.
Yeah, and it's amazing. If you go out and follow Ed on Instagram, you'll see the photos we tagged him in. We actually posted a photo of your truck on September 24th, right, one of the throwbacks. And what I thought was awesome is about 30 comments, but here's the love of the scene, right? And, a lot of people look at, like, how many followers do people have and how many likes do they get and all this crazy madness in the world. And I look at it and say, look, man, we posted your truck, right, one of your photos. You got Tim Berendis, right? You have Charles the Kid Armstrong, right?
Yes.
Of course, Jameel. But you have all of these guys that start chiming in, right? And with all these good words, and they're like, man, because that's how iconic a Mazda is. But yours was so clean. I mean, again, black. You've got the topper, like you mentioned earlier, with the trim around it, with the windows, of course. Colorado custom wheels. I mean, super clean. I mean, literally, the sky's the limit for you now, Ed, as far as just getting it back, up to, as fast as you want. I mean, obviously, to me, once you get this stuff running, I've had plenty of stuff over the years that's a pusher, right? That doesn't run, and you're like, man, I don't want to ask for help. Who do I ask? This and that. But once you get it running, where you can turn the key and it fires up, then you're like, oh, I can pull it on the side of the garage. I can work on it a little bit. You're going to get up early on a Saturday and get out there. So now, as quick as you want to bring it back to life, so to speak, dude, you're on the rise, man.
Yeah. It's overwhelming is the word I just keep going back to. I truly feel blessed. And to have so many people, their encouragement and people jumping on board, it's just so super cool. I mean, I don't like asking for help, and it's very humbling when you're in a position where you don't have anything to do but to ask for help. And there was no way I was going to ask for anyone's help the week of Slamfest. I mean, it's one thing to be able to ask them, months ago, and I kind of like put it off like, no. But the week of Slamfest, they all have their own projects they're working on. They're all trying to get those last minute, whatever it is, hiding wires or, polishing something or whatever happens to be. And, my truck, it wasn't worth it, because in my mind, as far as I knew, needed an engine, and it was just too far gone. But I thought it might be a decent conversation starter for people to be able to see it there.
Oh, yeah.
And it just kept getting better and better and better. So now it runs, and I can drive it, and I'm able to share that with my son. And, we're just hanging out, they're at trophy ceremony and seeing other people get their awards. And I want to see who's going to win the truck. Mini Madness, they gave away a truck this year for the 30th anniversary, and it was really cool. And we're kind of curious, like, okay, who's going to win this truck? So we're kind of hanging out in the back, and they're calling out these different awards. And next thing you know, they call me off for, our lifestyle podcast, Mini's on the Rise. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
You know how we do.
You have got to be kidding me.
Dude, Joey, it'd get decked. I told him I was going to crack it over my knee for the award ceremony like a Bo Jackson throwback. But, dude, you earned it because, you had your son there. You guys are cruising around, but you put that little bit of elbow grease in. And you also, for the stuff you couldn't do, you asked the homies, or you said, hey, man, this is the challenge I'm having. And the homies, the Lost Prophets and Madu and some of the others, they stepped up and, you recreated that photo. I mean, I love that, you keep such great photos and things like that and how you do with your photo albums and stuff. But recreating that is stuff that, as you know, I love to do that kind of stuff. Madu recreated one, I think it was 2019 or 2020.
Yeah, it was just last year, I believe.
Yeah, I think you were there. But you earned it for the hustle that you put in. And what we want to reinforce, too, is that, on the rise, you can spin it different ways. You could be like, okay, is it under construction or whatever? But your truck really fit the mold of it because it is on the rise, right? It's back in the catbird seat, as they would say in, definitely in NASCAR. But in many ways, you're back in the catbird seat and the truck's on the rise, man.
Well, it's much appreciated. Wasn't expected, so it was super cool. And
no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely potential for the truck. I walk up on stage and TC, he's kind of like handing me the mic, and he's like, "So, is there anything you want to say?" Because he knows the story that went on behind it. So I just tried to make it quick and just try to throw out some shout outs, but just kind of let everyone know. What an incredible experience it was, not only just to have the truck there, but I got to drive it and I got to cruise it through Slamfest and I got to share that moment with my son. So just incredible.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And, I put the word out to everyone because, I told people that, we got to take Mike out. You know what I'm saying? Because, this next show, we're talking because, I talked to a couple guys. We said, man, we got to get some graphics under the cab and, some crazy body mods and, we're going to have your cab on, airbags, dude. I mean, we got whatever Mike's doing, we got to go 10 times. And, everybody knows we're kind of kidding around. But, Project Banana Hammock, just don't let him kind of pull in front of you and, try to get the awards, because he's going for all the trophies. But,
yeah. I'm going to make sure Mike stays in his own lane because...
Yeah, there you go. You summed it up, man. See, I was rattling on, and you just go, yo, Mike Murray, stay in your lane, fool. But it's all in good fun. But, dude, Ed, I mean, a lot of history. We could go on, but, what I would tell people is check out Ed. I was talking to Marlon. Marlon Dunker lives not too far from me.
Yes.
And, I've been friends with Marlon a little over 20 years. And some go back, even kind of that 30-year mark. But, I was telling Marlon one time, I was like, yeah, man, Ed, he's got all these good photos. And I said, I've got a lot of stuff, but, I mean, he's got a lot of stuff. And, just a year ago, you brought a lot of those albums out. You got them all cataloged by date and show and things like that. And, you've definitely played a great part, especially in the Florida history. But, really in the overarching history, you fed me some great photos of even, like, Jason Dandler's Toyota. And some of those, at Blood Drag when things were getting shot. And, so I certainly appreciate you always looking out and trying, even, to feed us great stuff so that we can get our content out there. Because, like I would tell everyone, we're nothing. I mean, I've got a lot of photos, but without these stories and trying to piece things together, I mean, we wouldn't be where we are today. So, thank you, bro.
I appreciate it, man. I mean, that's something I've always enjoyed doing was taking photos. I may not have been able to wrench on a vehicle like everyone else, but I love documenting these photos, because I figured I'm going to walk around and I'm going to take as many pictures as I can, and I can be tired on Monday. But right now, I'm going to be at this car show 100%. And so I do. I have all these albums, and I brought them out again this year. And what was really cool is I was able to show Chuck Dog his Peach Civic from back in the day, and it just kind of stopped him in his tracks. And so now he's going through the albums, and he's pointing out, this is such and such, and this is this guy, and this is whoever. And he's mentioned, like, there was one, like, lowrider car that was just crazy modded, and the roof had, pivoted both different directions, kind of like what Mike Murray's going to be doing to his Mazda.
Right, that's the blueprint.
But, Chuck Dog was like, I went to Home Depot and got the hinges for that roof, and it just brought back great memories for him. So then I'm showing these albums to Madhu, and he finds his old Silver Bullet Mazda from back in the day. And it really made him emotional. Like,
yeah.
So for me to be able to share that with these guys, I just, they're not copyrighted, they're not watermarked, they're not whatever. I need to get them scanned, but I just want people to be able to enjoy them. So that's why I'm like, I will see something and I'll drop a photo out there, and I'll just try. That's how I can contribute.
Good.
I might be able to find a photo of your vehicle from a particular show, and I've been trying to find pictures of Jason Redden's brother's Civic. I think he said it was a silver Civic, and I think it may have had blue flames on it. I don't know, but to be honest, I probably have 100 Civics in those albums, and I don't know if any of them is it or not. But I bring them to these shows, so if someone wants to be able to flip through it and look through it, man, if it brings you a little bit of happiness and takes you back, in that path, to where you were, 15, 20 years ago, so be it. I mean, that's my contribution. That's how I can kind of give back to the scene a little bit.
I love it, and I love seeing Chuck Dog's van, back at the show.
Yes.
Did a lot of mods, the Kindigit handles, and moving the gas filler. I tried telling him, man, if he would just let me I had the saws already, and I said, hey, let me cut some T-tops into this thing, like, Knight Rider-ish, and we could, just get the piano hinges from, like, Home Depot, dude, like the old school. But he was worried about water and stuff. I go, come on, man. I mean, Madhu's not worried about it. But no, seriously,
Yeah.
Chuck Dog's the man, and he, I got a chance to hang out with him a couple weeks ago, and we got a little too crazy. I mean, he was getting crazy, but in all seriousness, we had a good time, and there's a lot of good people, and he's got a lot of heritage, in that southern area of Florida. As you know, there's a lot of guys and stuff down there, but I mean, dude, like I said, it's been cool reminiscing down memory lane, and as you continue to do whatever you decide with the Mazda, the black Mazda with the topper, Whiplash, keep us updated on it. Send us some photos, text them to me anytime, and I would love to share the progress. But going back with Mike's show next year, and relaxing on the ranch, and all these different events that are going to be going down in Florida. Sparks in the park. And so many more. Would love to, see you at a couple of them, and just see you enjoying the truck with a big smile, man.
Yeah, I would love to. That's the hope and the goal for next year. Maybe I can get it out. I got another update today that the truck should be up and running, like roadworthy, within a few weeks. And Madhu got a hold of me today, and I don't want to say too much, but he has a few things up his sleeve he wants to help me out with. So, some of those shows next year kind of falls in line with our fair season. We're into showing animals and such. So we do county fair, state fair, that kind of stuff. So some of that falls in line with that. So we won't be able to make it to those. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, absolutely. We'll be checking out and see what shows that we can get it to. And, hopefully there's going to be some progression made this year. We'll see. But I do have other things here I need to take care of.
Yep.
More of a priority, but at least I know, man, there's hope.
Yeah,
this
1,000.
is a possibility. This thing is not dead in the water, that it is being resurrected.
Yeah, whatever you do, I mean, when you're writing down your mod list, I mean, maybe we can do, maybe we'll keep our fingers crossed. You can get Mike with this one, do like some reverse Lambo doors or something, or like reverse gold wing where they lay down, like on a push of a button. I mean, we've got
Las
the
Vegas
ideas.
car.
Yeah, exactly. But we can't give all the ideas away for free because if Mike does happen to listen, then he's gonna try to do these. So we don't want to keep talking about them. But in all seriousness, dude,
right.
Ed, it's always great linking up with you, to Eric and all of the folks in Gulf Breeze that continues to keep the pedal stomped. Love seeing Eric's Blazer at the show, and just keep doing what you do. Much love, to your family, and let's talk more in the future about one of our favorite topics, Minis on the Rise, brother.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for choosing Whiplash, and it was just an amazing weekend. So, yes, you will see more of me and more of the truck.
And there you have it, Ed Eyster, the infamous Mr. M-I-S-T-E-R Ed on Instagram, or Ed Eyster, it's E-Y-S-T-E-R. There's only a couple of those out there on Facebook. Much love, homie. We'll talk soon.
Word. Thank you.
We got you.
See you.